class of 2013. And at Harvard, they are here to bring you their marvelous wit and wisdom. Come on up.
My name is Tynan.
And my name is Matt, and in true Radio Lab style, we're going to tell you how we came to be standing here today.
Once, we were lost in a wilderness. For miles we trekked, traversing desolate mountains and fording tumbling streams, until exhausted, we came upon a cave.
And like true adventurers, we crept inside, only to find that the mouth of the cave had sealed, and we were trapped in darkness, only mitigated by a mysterious glimmer.
We emptied our bags, pooling our resources. Calculus notes fluttered in the dank breeze.
And Spanish conjugation packets sank in the misty air. It was all for nothing. Nothing they taught us could help us now.
We racked our brains for what limited knowledge we had of caves. First, of course, there was Odysseus, recklessly leading his troops into the Cyclops' lair.
And then there are also the concave mirrors from physics class.
No. Our 18 years had come down to this.
And then we noticed that there was a dancing light in the cave, and it was cast from a fire, and the light projected undulating shadows onto a screen.
And we were all of a sudden clad in togas. Was this divine intervention trying to point us in the right direction? Let me sum this up. 2 toga-clad men sit in a cave with a screen, a fire, and undulating shadows.
It was like nothing I had ever heard before.
We'd heard of it. Plato, thinking. Only the enlightened could leave the cave. We had to become enlightened. Plato's parable.
You see, this is why I get extra time.
There was only one option. We had to think our way out.
But what did we think upon that would be important enough, grand enough to give us the enlightenment to leave? The meaning of life! Yes, we had just come from 4 years around some of the greatest thinkers we had ever met. Surely the answer lay among them.
And then, we drifted into an eerie secondary consciousness. Our minds were now racing to the head Royce campus, while our bodies were still trapped firmly in the cave. We began to storm.
My first stop was at the hall of the brilliant Mr. Ranky. Mr. Ranky?
Oh, my holding! I'm just looking up colored letter vests on Banana Republic.
Mr. Ranky, I have a really important question for you.
What can I do for you, John?
It's Matt, actually.
John, Matt, I knew it was from the Bible.
Mr. Ranky, it's just, I was wondering, what's the meaning of life?
Mark, if you'll excuse me, I have some very inconvenient jigsaw puzzle pieces to put together.
I need to know now, and my name is Matt.
He thought Ranky. I thought envelope. I walked in to find him grading paragraph responses, surely to a very particular and evocative prompt. Excuse me, Dr. Envelope, could I perchance ask you a question? It's about the meaning of life. He looked up from his work and turned to me. Then he closed his computer, slipped it in his briefcase. Dr. Arnold, the meaning of life. Thank you, Dr. Arnold.
Who next? Coach Tout? Mr. Von K? Miss Lehman, Miss Metz. After all, we worked at Plato's cave, the best to get us out. We had one last shot.
Hi, Matt.
Not now, Natalie. I'm trying to figure out the meaning of life.
Matt Carbon!
Miss Metz, may I ask you a question?
No.
We're trapped in a cave, Tynan and I are, and we figured out that it's like Plato's parable, and the only way out is to think. And we're trying to think about the meaning of life, but we don't know what it is, and we're hoping you'd be able to help us out.
Well, I thought it would be obvious by now.
Obvious? How is the meaning of life obvious? Fern, how is that obvious?
Just so you know, I don't know. Then, our minds descended further from enlightenment. Disjointed images from our head Royce careers stormed toward us. Fern meticulously rearranging the desk before class.
Adam falling off Dr. Bradley's yoga ball.
Dr. Brinkley brandishing a pipette.
Dr. Enelo discussing Big Mama Tiamat.
The image of fluffy-haired Andy Spears spun out of the darkness.
Andy, thank goodness we've been all over the Head Royce campus trying to figure out the meaning of life, and no one will help us.
One last thing of advice for you guys. Much energy is wasted seeking elsewhere for an answer that lies along the road you just came from.
Where had we just been? Well, Head Royce. For 4 years. What had we done there?
And just then, a shaft of lightning stormed from the heavens and shattered our confines. So, what was the enlightening knowledge that lifted us from the cave?
It was merely the realization that meaning in our own lives existed at Head Royce in far more accessible ways than the answer to distant, nebulous conundrums like the meaning of life.
It was meaningful to discuss the antecedents to Pugachev's rebellion, because at some point we cease being students with a goal of college, and we become people with a goal of satisfaction. Satisfaction in learning, satisfaction in thinking, and satisfaction in sharing our lives.
So those cleavage reactions were good for more than just titillating chemistry class discussions. Take Head Royce for all it was worth. Embrace the path as you would Big Mama Tiamat. Hell, you only live it once. Don't be left inside the cave.
Don't be left inside the cave. There's meaning in every step. Embrace it.